Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. I hope you had a great day. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories, shall we? The first story is called "You insist on using this coupon?" So this happened to me a few days ago at my dealer. For context, I'm a service advisor at a large domestic brand dealer in one of Texas's largest cities. This customer came in because her truck was pulling hard to the left and needed an oil change. I told her it might need an alignment, but I would have one of my techs look at it to see if nothing else was wrong. A few hours later, I call her and tell her that everything looks fine, but the alignment was out of spec and the tech was recommending one. She asks how much, and I tell her our alignments are $119.95 for cars and light trucks, plus the oil change. I can hear her sigh over the phone. She says, "You guys are too expensive. This is why I hate dealing with dealerships. There's got to be a coupon or something for me." Mind you, this was her first time visiting the dealer, no previous history, nothing. So I tell her, "Ma'am, at this moment we are not running any promotions, but let me see what I can do for you." I place the call on hold for about a minute, pick up the line again and tell her I spoke with my supervisor and we can use an internal coupon to discount the alignment to $79.95. That's it? So I say, "Yes, that's what we can do today," and stay quiet. Okay, go ahead and do it. Fast forward a few hours, she comes in to pick up the truck and hands me a coupon from another dealer. It said Mother Day special, full synthetic oil and filter exchange with tire rotation and 2 or 4 wheel alignment for $189. I look it over and also notice it had expired a few days prior. So I tell her, "Ma'am, this is from another store and it's also expired." She says, "I spoke to someone earlier and they told me I could use it and that the expiration doesn't matter because it's not your coupon." I asked her who she spoke to, but she couldn't give me a name. Of course. While I'm looking at this spectacular flyer, I realize that the price is more expensive than my bill. Our service for her vehicle is $74.95 plus the alignment at $79.95. She would be just over $150. I try to get a word across to let her know about this. But as soon as I say, "But ma'am, your total is," she cuts me off. She says, "Either you take this coupon or get me a manager. I'm not paying you expensive price. You guys are thieves." I say, "Ma'am, I already discounted your alignment to $79.95. Your coupon is useless. It will be." Again, she cut me off and starts yelling. "Somebody on the phone said I could use this coupon, and I will, and I'm done with you." I smile and say, "Okay, you are the customer." I proceed to adjust the ticket and change the price to make the total $189.99 plus tax. After she paid, I say, "Here are your keys, ma'am. Have a wonderful day." She stomped out of the door and peeled off. The next story is called "Always Open the Windows." I work as the head maintenance person in a school in my city in Canada. To say I have my hands full is an understatement. The school is 99 years old, turning 100 in July. It has been updated over the years, but the building is made out of brick, and I'm constantly trying to adjust the heating system throughout the day, as the building soaks up heat and keeps it. As an attempt to mitigate the heat, I found that opening all the windows in the school first thing in the morning before the staff comes in, and they can open or close the windows as they wish. Now, where I am, our weather is pretty weird, and yesterday it was cold. It had been 30 plus degrees Celsius Monday and Tuesday, and yesterday it was sitting at 4 degrees Celsius with a wind chill that brought it to 0. So, considering the temperature inside the school was sitting at 10 degrees Celsius, I opted to not open the windows that morning and perform my morning routine. Well, apparently, the principal, my supervisor for the building, felt I had made the wrong decision and whipped me a new one, telling me to always open the windows from now on. Cue malicious compliance. Before leaving, I confirmed that he indeed wanted them open, regardless of the outside temperature, including the next day, a Friday, a day with no students. He said yes, and if any staff had issues, I was to get them to complain to him, and then he motioned me to leave his office. So today, I got up and checked the weather before going to work. It said it was currently -1 degree Celsius and -4 with the wind. On top of that, we got snow. The entire trip to work, I have this evil grin on my face, and as soon as I get in, I rush to open every window in the school, even the vents for the bathrooms. Then I continued with my morning routine, pleased with what I did. Now, since there weren't any classes that day, the majority of staff didn't even show up till 10:30. 3 hours since I had opened the windows. It was very cold inside the school, and all of a sudden I get a bunch of texts from staff about their cold rooms. I proceed to tell every single one of them what the principal had said, and shortly after I'm called to his office. As soon as I open the door, I can tell that he is very angry and very cold, and he wants to know why I opened all the windows this morning. All I get to say is, "Well, yesterday you said," and he calmly says, "Wait." Now, I'm known for being maliciously compliant and getting petty revenge on people. I've apparently built up a name for myself within the entirety of all 50 schools in my school board. My union reps love me. He now realizes that he messed up and starts laughing about it. He admits that he screwed up his wording. He's been having a rough couple of days, and apparently this made his week. From now on, he is going to leave it to me to decide when the windows should be opened. We both had a very good laugh, and he ended up buying the staff lunch. After the teachers heard what happened, they all bugged him a bit, but it was all for fun. The third story is called "No Shorts Allowed." This happened to my brother about 30 years ago. He was working at a facility that made large waste separation machines for recycling. He worked in the electrical/controls department, which was open to the main factory floor but away from the assembly area. He never left the electrical bench, as all he did was build control panels while others installed them. In 2 years he never went on the floor to work on the machines. There were areas with lots of welding going on, but even these were segregated to one side due to ventilation requirements. The factory floor was not climate controlled. In the first 2 years shorts were okay, as long as you didn't go in the welding area. Then someone got burned and the shorts rule got changed, but skirts were still okay. As you can guess, my brother and others wore some shorts after the change, mostly because as far as he knew the rule hadn't been enforced. Then the day came when the owner turned on the enforcement and decided to call my brother out on it first. The gist of a 30-year-old conversation from memory went something like this: "You need to go home and change. I'm not the only one wearing shorts. I'll be sending everyone wearing them home to change. Are the women on the floor wearing skirts going to have to change? No, skirts are okay. Okie dokie, be back in an hour." Not long before this, our grandmother decided to get really into genealogy, like go to libraries and courthouses and graveyards for pencil rubbings. She had traced us back to the Scottish Highlands. After finding this out, my brother did exactly what Kirk Lazarus later warned against doing, and went little nuts, immersing himself in our newly discovered heritage. So my brother shows back up to work, proudly wearing his walking kilt. The next week there was yet another rule added and enforced, and my brother was not very well liked among the female employees after that. The next story is called "This Will Never Happen Again." I'm an 11-year veteran certified nursing assistant in nursing home settings. Due to childcare issues, I could only work 4 days a week, but because CNAs are in short supply, I would go to work 2 hours early and help the day shift. They had just hired a brand new head nurse, number 2 of the building, directly under the administrator, a 400-pound Garth Brooks looking dude. One day I had just clocked in and was just getting started when the head nurse called me over down the hall. As I'm walking towards him, he begins yelling at me without holding back, literally sounding like he's trying to square up for a fight, completely surprising and unprofessional to me. He was yelling at me in front of open resident rooms about how I have been putting my belongings in this back storage room. He then threw my belongings at me. In his fit of unbridled rage of a minor inconvenience at best, he threatened me with, "This will never happen again." I stared at him for a second and calmly responded, "You are absolutely right. This will never happen again." As he walked away, I walked straight back to the time clock and punched out for the last time. I shook the administrator's hand for past assistance he had given me and called a nursing home 3 blocks away who hired me on the spot. I had never walked out of a job before that day and only did it as my actual shift didn't start for 2 more hours. Walking out on shift is considered abandonment of residence and a CNA can be barred from caregiving. But as my shift hadn't started, I was technically a no-call no-show. The head nurse was fired shortly after over similar situations. The last story is called "It's Tradition." This happened while I worked at a phone shop in the UK. It was 2009 and I had just come back from a 3-week Spanish holiday. I had a sharing box of absinthe. It ranged from 87.5 to 98% alcohol, not proof, but the actual percent of alcohol. I had drunk the 98% stuff on holiday and got wasted on only 150 ml of the stuff during a whole night, not all at once. Anyway, I replaced that bottle with orange juice and plan to take it myself when I shared it with all the staff in the shop. I get back to the UK on a Thursday, had Friday off and was at work on a Saturday morning. Now, I handed out the bottles, and before I could say do not drink the stuff until tonight, the boss snatched a bottle of 95% stuff, told everyone to do a toast and had us all down the entire bottle. As I tried to explain, no, you will get drunk, he said it's his tradition wherever he worked to share these bottles and drink up when handed out, so we all did. Of the 8 staff in, 7 were quickly laid up wasted and sick. Meanwhile, I, with the bottle of orange juice, was manning the shop and making the best day sales ever. I earned nearly £450 commission in one day. The boss tried to get me in trouble, but all the staff all said to the area manager that he insisted we all drank and overruled my warnings not to. He ended up getting fired a few months later for sleeping with a staff member, and I left shortly afterward to change jobs. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. It really helps in the algorithm. Have a great day. Stay safe. Bye bye.